there, everybody, and welcome to your April Teach Box. It is here. It is April 1st, and we are so excited to deliver this month's Teach Box. This month, everything is all about writer's voice and how students can better and more strongly develop their writer's voices. So you're going to see 3 writing lessons this month. We normally spread it out a little bit, but we really wanted to focus on writing during the month of April. April is also National Poetry Month, so this would be a great month to use voice lessons with either literary analysis writing, or if you have the chance to teach some poetry, it's a great match for poetry as well. So in the 9 to 12 box, which this is, we are focusing on 3 major parts of building and growing student voice. Lesson number 1 is kind of like a personality quiz type of lesson where students are learning what voice is. So they're kind of learning about style, tone, and their personalities, in that they're kind of taking a 10-question quiz. They're identifying the things that make their own writing voice unique and identifying it for themselves. Then moving into lesson 2, the students are going to learn about where writing voice really belongs, especially in analytical or nonfiction writing. For the most part, us high school English teachers, we are focused, a lot of our writing is focused on literary analysis, and most of our essays are not necessarily calling for student voice to begin with. A lot of what we want to see is, can you take the text? Can you analyze it? Can you pull it apart? Can you use evidence? And so if we want to also have students writing those essays with voice, we've got to kind of help them think about where their voice belongs. And a great first place for that is in the introduction. So this entire lesson is about writing introductions. This one's kind of cool. This lesson is actually, I think you guys may have seen it in our Instagram feed. This lesson actually gives you guys a flip book. I want to show you this one, the student handout's really cool. So the students will get this. You'll print this out for all your kids. There's some directions here for how it works. All right. And then basically, like, each slide here is a flap. So it's taking a second here for my computer to load that for you. So this is the cover flap. Then each of the different flaps is a different way to introduce a topic, a paper, and to use an introduction in their writing. So there's all these different ideas with samples, strategies, different ways students can do that. And then when you have all of it printed, you simply cut along the dotted line and then staple at the top. Really simple and really helpful little tool for students to use while writing. And then lesson number 3 is a jump into poetry. So if you've never taught slam poetry before, this will be everything you've ever needed to know about slam poetry and how to help your students write their own. And then, of course, how to share their voice with the rest of their classmates, maybe even at a community night that you organize with the whole school, maybe the whole community, some parents come in. But what better place for students to own their voice than in spoken word poetry? So that's lesson 3. Moving on down in the box, you've got, again, a nice list of literary pairings. These are great authors that have exceptional and unique voice that came to mind right away. So you could definitely pair any of these lessons with any of these texts if you're looking for a place to put it in the year. And then there's a ton of things here in your Teachbox resource library. I've got several videos for you about voice. Some of the videos are poems. Your articles over here, this first article is actually recycled. I did use this in the October box, but if you were around in October, I don't know if you got a chance to use it, but it was the November box. Either way, this is one of my favorite mentor texts to use in the classroom. I want to give you a little sneak preview of As Not Seen on TV by Pete Wells. Pete Wells is a restaurant reviewer, and he wrote a review of Guy Fieri's restaurant in Times Square, and it is absolutely hysterical. He hated the restaurant, but he uses such great sarcasm and humor in the article that it's so fun to share with kids. This is probably my favorite paragraph. Did panic grip your soul as you stared into the whirling hypno wheel of the menu, where adjectives and nouns spin in a crazy vortex? When you saw the burger described as Guy's Pat LaFrida Custom Blend All Natural Creekstone Farm Black Angus Beef Patty, LTOP, L-top, lettuce, tomato, onion, and pickle, SMC, super melty cheese, and a slathering of donkey sauce on garlic buttered brioche, did your mind touch the void for a minute? I love this list of rhetorical questions that actually begins way before that too, and he just keeps going, rhetorical question after rhetorical question after rhetorical question, all the way down the article. It is such an awesome, awesome trip into authors and writers' voice that you can take with your students. I think you'll really like this one. There's a couple other great articles that are written by authors and other writers about finding voice. Another great article about South Florida and some students who were in a poetry contest, and they were doing spoken word poetry. Kind of cool what those students were up to. And of course, some great examples of famous authors who their voice is so strong, they've actually broken a lot of grammar rules in order to build their voice. All right. So then, last but not least, we've got just a reminder. We do have a Pinterest board for every month where we add additional articles as they come up throughout the year. So we publish your April box April 1st, but if we find something after we've published the box, we will add it all to the Pinterest board. So keep an eye on our Pinterest boards. Make sure you're following those. And of course, we have our bonus lesson. This month, I'm sharing with you something that I made for my other business, Mud and Ink Teaching. And this is a poetry survival guide. This will be helpful to any teacher who teaches poetry. It's just kind of got like an overview. I'll show you really quick. It's a website. And I've got a review of some really good resources. I have one of my own is at the very beginning, the Big Six. This is a really important teaching tool when it comes to teaching poetry. I've got a free lesson for you guys right here. Some other great stuff is listed by other authors and bloggers and things that they've done here. I've got 2 more video libraries for you guys listed over here, poems for high school students and instructional videos. A really lengthy tutorial on slam poetry, so you can learn everything you've ever needed to know about slam poetry right here. And then finally, a list of some poetry project ideas. So I threw that in there for you guys today as your bonus lesson is actually a giant website with lots of resources and ideas. So that's right here. And then just a reminder, if anybody would like to subscribe, you're still welcome to. Our poetry mini box comes out every single month, and it's just $5 a month. It's a smaller version of Teachbox. It's one lesson, still get the resource library, still get all the handouts. You still get everything on Google Drive, so you can edit it. You can send it out to your kids on Google Classroom, no problem. So that is this month's April Teachbox. We hope you love it. We hope you teach your kids lots of cool things about voice. Share some student writing with us on Instagram. Don't forget to connect with us there. And don't forget to jump into our Facebook group and share what you're working on with your students. Have a wonderful April, and may your weather be delightful.